Understanding where we have come from and so many catastrophes that have ever happened, depressions, recessions, obviously those are the ones that we want to be on, pandemics, uh, natural disasters, wars. We need to understand how those things impact us so we can move on and hopefully grow from those issues. Um, in these times, we have been hit with a pandemic, unfortunately, and we have been shown um, not our better nature, but our understanding of how things that were supposed to have run before have changed with time. We have always been able to freely move and buy and go to stores without a second thought uh, in our minds, except whether or not the time was there to make that accomplishment, that feat. But with the pandemic, it has shown us that sometimes what is needed, sometimes maybe just a want. Um, for the older generation growing up, social events were always a must have. They were always needed to ensure that they stayed relevant, to ensure that they were in touch with loved ones, and they could actually be able to consistently continue that growth, that personal touch. The millennials, didn't see it so much. We started being a little bit out of touch to shift towards technology and be able to have meetings and virtual sessions and um, commute communications without actually physically being there and get things done. The newer generation doesn't care whether or not they show up; they can still accomplish feats regardless. How that changes how we actually do business is monumental. No one saw this more than eateries and restaurants, retailers that needed that that human touch to be present. Um, that caused e-commerce to boom. DoorDash, Uber Eats, these were all businesses that grew out of this. Liquor sales direct to the home grew. Cosmetics never fails. The two things that will always stay relevant, regardless of how bad the economy is obviously liquor sales and cosmetics. People want to they want to make sure that they feel good about themselves. But how does that hit us? How does that make us socially relevant? Because again, we don't shop like we used to anymore. Now, the necessities, whether or not it is relevant for staying fit or fed or dressed within that month, now we have to make concessions whether or not we need to go out there for the wants. Um, Now, this could have been a good thing, but it mostly was a bad thing because we had to shift from what we know to something that we are just trying to get adjusted. Companies like Yelp that reviews grew out of this, but it also cost a lot of individuals that were starting entrepreneurs and retailers, businesses, eateries to get hit hard because since we are shifting everything to a virtual world where we take um, opinions as relevancy, those individuals get hit to ensure that those reviews are positive. And if they're not, then they get treated like the mafia for protection. They get bullied into ensuring that they keep subscribing to reviewers to the review market to ensure that they stay relevant and that they are on the good side, so that they know that they are protected. Uh, as we continue on through this pandemic, we now understand what is needed to what is wanted. Unfortunately, sometimes those get confused, and we have lost touch to our humanity socially. Uh, because we are now cyborgs. We, like Elema said, we are connected to an electronic device, and though the connection is slow, um, we are always connected to the community, to the social aspect, uh, without actually being connected through our devices, through our phones, our tablets, our computers. So moving forward, even though things change, they still stay the same.